Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Idahoan Show. I'm making this video to announce the launch of a spin-off channel devoted specifically to music videos. It's called Bunker Cathedral, and you'll find a link in the description. This is potentially the first of several spin-off channels that I intend to eventually create focused on specific topics or specific types of videos. Now, this was not necessarily an easy decision for me to arrive at. My guiding principle for this channel has always been that I make videos about anything that interests me. And that actually has a couple of advantages. First of all, for me as a content creator, it makes it easier to create more content. But perhaps more importantly for you as a viewer, anything that a person says is construed in light of who is saying it and what else they have said. For example, suppose I was to make a video criticizing the AR-15 platform for having a bore that is in line with the buffer tube and the stock, forcing you to have a relatively large height-over bore for whatever optics you're using on the gun. Now, the reason, of course, for that low bore axis and high height over bore is that it's based on the M16 platform, which was originally designed as a select fire rifle for military service. And in military service, being used in fully automatic fire, it's important to have that low bore axis to keep the gun controllable, to keep it from climbing during an extended burst. And so they're willing to trade off the height over bore for controllability. In a civilian application where the rifle is strictly semi-automatic, that trade-off doesn't make so much sense. But anyway, if I was to make a video with that kind of criticism of the AR platform, you would understand it based on everything else that I've posted as simply a technical criticism, and if anything, you would expect me to follow up by suggesting modifications to the design that would correct the problem. Which, in fact, if you've seen my recent video on rural EDC, you know that one possible solution is to mount a scout scope offset at 45 degrees out on the handguard in front of the receiver and use a bufferless upper so that you can get your eye down behind that scout scope, and then your height over bore is reduced to just a little bit over an inch. So, coming from me, that criticism of the AR-15 platform would be construed, if anything, as a pro-gun video, because I'm basically just paving the way to suggest ways of advancing the state-of-the-art in civilian firearms technology, implying that I believe civilians should have things like AR-15s and that that design should be adapted and optimized to meet our needs. But if a liberal politician were to post the exact same criticism of the AR-15 platform for having a large height over bore and a very low bore axis due to the military provenance of the design, you would probably and reasonably take that to be an anti-gun video, because they're probably trying to set the stage to introduce legislation to ban AR-15s based on that military provenance of the design. So having a wide variety of content on my channel gives you, the viewer, a better opportunity to understand who's actually saying what I'm saying and where I'm coming from with the videos that I make. That said, there are also some very significant advantages to splitting up content into a larger number of more focused channels. First and foremost, it makes the content easier to find. I think one of the biggest challenges for viewers on YouTube has always been sifting through the ocean of mediocre and less than mediocre media to find the handful of videos that you actually want to watch. And if anything, I'm afraid that this problem is getting progressively worse because, well, first we had sort of the decline in ad revenues, the so-called adpocalypse, and then the various waves of censorship that really stripped away a lot of the incentive for creators to invest a lot of time and energy and materials in making high quality videos. Then we had the wave of new generative AI technologies that have made it easier than ever before to create mediocre and sub-mediocre clickbaity type content. So at this point, I feel like anything I can do to help make my content better organized and easier to find for the people that are actually interested is probably worth doing. Second, splitting up my content into a number of more focused channels also provides an element of redundancy, which provides somewhat of a safeguard against the ever-changing whims of algorithmic censorship. You know, despite my best efforts to abide by YouTube's ever-changing policies on what is considered permissible and monetizable content, it's been a couple years ago now that they fully demonetized my entire channel just based on my firearms-related content. And I can't imagine that if the algorithm is overbearing enough to do that, it's not also suppressing to some extent all of my content just by association. So if I disperse my content across different channels centered around different subjects, then I may be able to break up that association and prevent any unnecessary censorship or suppression of that content, again, ultimately making it easier for the people that want to see it to find it. So that's the plan, is to start a number of spin-off channels. Probably most of the firearms-related content will remain here, as well as this will continue to be a catch-all for any video I feel like making that doesn't fit neatly into one of the more focused spin-offs. And as I said at the beginning of the video, the first such spin-off channel is now live. It is called Bunker Cathedral, and it is a music channel. The name comes from the fact that I do most of my recording in the shop, which has echoing cathedral acoustics, and viewers have often commented that it looks like I'm singing in an underground bunker. A lot of the content that I post on Bunker Cathedral, at least up front, will be re-edits of music videos that I have already done, but I am working on some new songs that will be interspersed there as well, and everything that I post will be re-edited to optimize it for a music channel. A lot of the songs that I've posted here begin with sort of an introduction of me giving the background of where the song came from, whereas if any of that explanatory material makes it over to Bunker Cathedral, it will simply be text in the video description. The video itself will be confined to strictly singing or music. Now, I think I've got about 100 music videos that I've done so far, so it'll take some time to re-edit and re-upload all of those to the new channel. The plan at this point, because my time is limited, is to post one video a week on Bunker Cathedral for, well, it'll take me probably about 2 years at that rate to get through the backlog, and if I'm generating a few new ones in the process, I should be able to sustain that pace even a little bit longer. In the meantime, I know that there are some people who are eagerly looking forward to certain psalms in the Idahoan Psalter that I'm just about to get to, so for a little while at least, I will continue posting psalters here on the Idahoan Show, as well as eventually on Bunker Cathedral once I get caught up, if I go in the order of the psalms. So that pretty much covers the substance of this announcement. I don't like to beg for subscriptions, but if you are someone who enjoys my singing, my music videos, then I think you will like this new spin-off channel. And if that channel did get a sudden surge in subscribers, that might just trigger the algorithm to favor it, to suggest it to more people, and make it easier for anyone else who might be interested in this kind of content to find it. In any case, thank you for watching The Idahoan Show.